A minimum wage hike is at the top of the agenda for the governor. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Denise Douglas.
And I'm Rochelle Metzger. Thank you for joining us. Well, that's right. Governor Martin O'Malley lays out his legislative agenda for the year ahead in his annual State of the State speech. Delivering his final address to the joint session of the General Assembly, the Democratic leader also reflected on the highs and lows of his time in office.
Our people, I can report to you that the state of our state is strong and is growing stronger by the day.
In his 8th and final State of the State address, Governor Martin O'Malley took time to reflect on the last 7 years, bouncing back from $1 billion budget deficit, restoring the Chesapeake Bay, and passing both marriage equality and the DREAM Act.
More children receive health care in Maryland than ever before. We have reduced juvenile homicides by 44%. We have reduced the number of children placed in foster care and group homes by 42%.
Governor O'Malley praised the administration for maintaining a AAA bond rating and recovering all the jobs lost in the national recession. He also touted more than $9 billion in spending cuts, but Republicans disagree and criticize the governor for raising taxes, which they say has driven away business.
There's a lot of unemployment. There's a lot of people who haven't had a raise in a long time, and yet the government keeps increasing spending, keeps increasing taxes, and we need to give Marylanders some relief.
Looking ahead, legislative priorities include expanding pre-K programs, protecting domestic violence victims, and increasing worker pay.
Raising the minimum wage to $10.10 is going to create more and better customers for Maryland businesses. And that is why raising the minimum wage is not only good for the hundreds of thousands of Marylanders who will see a boost in their paycheck, it is good for every Marylander because it is good for our entire economy. It's time to raise the minimum wage in Maryland.
O'Malley also admits to falling short in terms of the rollout of the state's online health care exchange, and he says the administration will continue working to sign up as many Marylanders as possible by the March 31st deadline. And it would seem the term-limited governor is looking beyond just the year ahead. O'Malley must step down in January 2015 and is weighing a 2016 presidential bid.
Well, a former Prince George's corrections officer is headed to jail. 25-year-old Rashad Jones has been sentenced to 3 years behind bars after pleading guilty to intent to distribute drugs and misconduct in office. An internal investigation last year revealed he was smuggling marijuana and other items into the jail for inmates. The state's attorney says this sentence sends a clear message for others who might violate the public trust.
We don't promise that in every instance things don't occur, but we respond well when they do. And that is always the message, is that we act immediately, and we believe that that happened. In this case, the judge went above guidelines. We believe his sentence was a stiff penalty intended to send the message that 3 years was on the misconduct in office, and that was the point that we really wanted to make here, is that this is absolutely not acceptable.
We're very pleased to see that the court system, the justice system, took action today against this officer who betrayed my trust, all of my officers' trust, and the trust of the inmates in the facility. When you favor one over others, you're causing a vast harm to them.
Jones resigned from the Department of Corrections last year. Well, bullets were flying on Walters Lane in Forestville during a police shooting that involved police. It happened last night as officers pursued 2 men wanted in connection with an armed robbery. Investigators say the duo held up a liquor store in the 3300 block of Walters Lane. Police say the 2 fled in a minivan into the district, crashed into a utility pole before getting away on foot. A Prince George's police officer fired his weapon. One suspect was struck and was hospitalized. The other is also in custody.
Now you see it, now you don't. That speed camera that was set up on Brinkley Road in Fort Washington is gone, and the alleged violators who were photographed by the camera will get their money back. That camera was set up in November of 2012 in the 2400 block of Brinkley Road near St. Ignatius School. More than 1,400 people will be getting a refund check in the mail in the amount of $40. The problem? State law requires police to advertise the locations of speed cameras when they go up. And while they advertise the new cameras, somehow the location was left out. AAA, which has been critical of the speed camera program, applauded the decision to refund drivers.
So the fact that Prince George's County is going one step beyond and going over and above what the law requires in order to make amends to motorists is breathtaking in its scope. But it also sends a powerful message to the vendor that really got this wrong and should have properly notified motorists about the existence of the camera.
The county and that vendor who operates the camera will share the $58,000 refund cost. An additional $24,000 in citations will be voided because those violations were never paid.